I did my leadership experience with my club, the Meetings and Events Student Association, that I am president of this year, and I wanted to create a meet and greet, basically a little event for students to get an inside look at MESA and what we do and get them actively involved in our club and interested in what we do. So the vision I had for this event was to bring interest for new members. There is a need for students to feel actively involved in MESA. From past feedback that I've gotten, students like when they want to get involved in a club, obviously there's only so many people to join the board, but we have general members, and the way for them to get involved is just to attend MESA events. Well, some students or a lot of students want to feel more involved by attending meetings weekly or disciplining themselves to go to a bi-weekly meeting to basically feel more involved in student organizations. So that's kind of the need that we're filling with this event. And to bring new board members on for next semester specifically, we have a big board of 12 members on the MESA board, but only one of them is a non-senior. She's a sophomore. And so a goal is definitely to bring in that younger interest. I want to get a lot of younger students on the board for next semester, and then an easier transition for next fall, basically. So I created a flyer for this event, called it the MESA Meet and Greet, and wanted to promote it for students to come to learn more about MESA, sit in on a board meeting, meet other event students, and learn about upcoming events. And we had it on Tuesday, October 8th from 6:30 to 7:30 in our normal board meeting location in the student union in a boardroom. So setting expectations for this event, I really wanted to get students to know one another, introduce MESA to new members, get the board member collaborating, make members aware of upcoming events. We had a lot of events in October, and so this was perfect timing with respect to promoting events that MESA was doing in the future. I also wanted to allow students the ability to listen in and give opinions during a board meeting and really see what goes on every Tuesday night. And so I created a presentation for myself to stay more organized and kind of have more of a structured event. We had a TV in the boardroom, so it was perfect. I could just plug it into my computer, and then people could watch my presentation when I talked. And then specifically, we wanted to get 10 attendees or more. So kind of an agenda, or looking at what went on. We started off with some icebreakers. We did the human knot. I wanted to get students out of their seats, and then we did speed dating with the board, which was really successful. And then I did more of a presentation, learning about MESA, what we do, if students had questions or ideas or any thoughts. And then we transitioned into more of a formal board meeting, where board members went over the agenda, and then this was the time for students to sit in on the meeting. They're more than welcome to give feedback as well. And then kind of to wrap up, we ended with an interactive game, Kahoot, where students could actively show what they had learned in the past hour. Developing relationships. So making connections in this meeting basically happened specifically in our icebreakers. We had a human knot challenge. We had two groups of about 12-ish people. So board members and other members were involved in this actively. It kind of made students get over that initial awkwardness. You have to hold hands with someone you don't know and get in a circle and get out of the knot by communicating. So it's a great communication practice. And then after that, we stayed outside. We went outside for this activity. We stayed outside and then went into a speed dating activity. So we had one side, I had one side of a row line up. They were all board members, and then the other side were new members. And we would all talk to each other and then rotate every 2 minutes. And we did it for about 6 rounds, I think, because it was so successful. I had potential topics that people could talk about if they didn't know what, but it was really casual, get to knowing one another. And I want to show a quick video of that. This is the human knot, so it's kind of just a fun little thing that we did. This was outside in the studio. Start off our meeting. Perfect. So, moving on to the teaching and training portion of this event, that really took place when I went over what MESA is about and presented to everybody. Make students aware of what we do and why they would want to join MESA. Basically, our mission is to bridge the gap between students and the events industry. We do events on campus, such as the showcase, which some students might not know, the back to school lunch. We do workshops and collab events throughout the semester. And then one thing I wanted to talk about specifically was the networking opportunities we offer through the Spark program that is a part of MESA, where we allow students get sponsored to go to professional association events every month. So it's a great opportunity for students who want to get into that professional world and build connections, basically. And then we have fall venue tours. We had a weekend fall venue tour coming up, and venue tours is also a big thing MESA does, so I wanted to talk about that. And then in the springtime, we actually take a trip to do a whole weekend venue tour. And last year we went to Las Vegas. So I had some pictures in here kind of highlighting that trip as well. And then we moved on to the board meeting, where students could sit in on the board meeting and get a feel for the board, observe how they are conducted, and look at how MESA operates, and then allowed any questions or ideas or feedback. I want to go to our meeting minutes from that meeting, actually. So we went kind of over the student organization boards that needed to be in the Adams Humanities hallway and how that was looking like due date wise, which students might not even have known that we were gonna do posters, so it was cool to look at that. And then I want to scroll down to our events that we highlighted, our upcoming venue tour in the end of October, and how it was a collaboration with the new student org Scream. And Friday was all booked up. We also mentioned Hornblower and House of Blues, which was cool because we hadn't said anything on social media about what venues we were doing. So these students got to know already, oh, we're going to some cool places in San Diego. They would want to sign up. And then we covered our flower workshop. We had a floral arrangement workshop that week after on October 17th. So she was talking about that, and the RSVP deadline was that Thursday after this meeting. So we again wanted to plug this. And then we talked about the HTM showcase and the planning, how that was going for the semester, and then also talked about a fundraiser that we had in the upcoming weeks as well. Perfect. All right, so motivating and inspiring. I had pizza. I brought pizza as a social factor, basically, for everyone. And in the end of our board meeting, we ended with a game of Kahoot to get that active involvement. Students were not as actively participating during the board meeting, which I understand because they were more there for the observation portion and weren't too comfortable with talking to a board full of seniors, I can imagine. So this was a way to get more of that active participation and basically reiterate what I was said during the meeting. And we had a prize. We had a Cold Stone gift card prize for incentives. So that was fun. I will go to some of the questions that we asked. We asked things like, what does MESA stand for? How many board members do we have? What is something MESA does not plan? Who is the MVP or the VP? We went over board positions and names. Everyone introduced themselves. Where did MESA go on the spring venue tour trip last year? So it was things like that, little questions to spark memories and get students involved in a fun game to end. So that was a fun way to end this event. So assessing the performance of this event. Initially, we had 11 RSVPs. I had a link made with the flyer, but 15 total attendees. So that was really awesome. We had more people than expected and really filled up the room, which was great. Great atmosphere. With respect to interest, there were 3 girls that came up to me specifically right after the event asking about signing up for the flower workshop and making sure they weren't going to miss the deadline or if it was too crowded or too full already. So that was really great to see the excitement that these students had for upcoming events. And it was really awesome to make connections with new students and Overall excitement from the MESA board about younger student involving. This was the slide I ended on with announcements. We had our flower workshop, our venue tour, and then I plugged in our social media as well for people to follow. So feedback. The following week at our MESA board meeting, we talked about what went well and everything like that. Overall, the event was really successful. We decided we want to have future all-member board meetings planned, and we actually have one planned on November 19th, so that's really exciting. I wanted to take a closer look at the minutes where we talked about what went well. It was a great combo of fun and comfortable, as well as a formal meeting. Gained interest from younger students, and this is the type of thing that we need when we want to bring in a younger student body for the board next year. Lessons learned for me specifically is always to have a plan of the event, but be flexible if things are running longer than expected or shorter than expected, just to go with the flow. Even though it was structured, it was lightly structured, so we could go off tangents, and it was really fun. A game really helps engagement during the actual board meeting. Members weren't really talking too much, they were more observing, so the game really helps wrap up the engagement piece to this event. I learned to be confident and trust myself in how I ran the event and showing my genuine personality and kind of just talking to everybody instead of presenting. And then reaching out to everyone personally to show interest. As a leader, I want to make sure that I'm making connections with everyone and making them feel like I am interested in their what they have to say and everything. And with this event specifically, every time someone walked in the door in the very beginning, I was their first point of contact, and I made sure to introduce myself and get them to sign up on our sign-in sheet and everything like that. And I introduced myself as the president, and kind of just to show that even though I might have a label like a president, I'm pretty easy to talk to. I just wanted to get students involved with that. The impact this had on my leadership philosophy. Again, as a leader, I always want to make myself approachable and create a casual environment, because I know that's when I feel most comfortable in leader situations. I want to make others feel comfortable to speak whatever they want to say or their opinions on things without getting ridiculed or anything like that. Taking on more leadership roles such as this event will help build my leadership techniques and style, and I know practice can only help. Again, just to trust myself and my personality, even if it's like having my personality shine through presentations just shows the kind of person I am, and I don't ever want to have an ingenuine way towards people. Like, I want everyone to just know me organically, basically. Connecting again one-on-one helps build this trust. So specifically with the speed dating activity, it was great to get that one-on-one interaction for 2 minutes. It was really awesome. And then to end this presentation, just kind of showing what we have planned on November 19th. We have another general body meeting followed by a Friendsgiving feast. So that's really exciting. I also have one more video kind of highlighting how the presentation part was structured. We would get to the front, this big boardroom, and then I was talking during our presentation piece and how everything began. But overall, this event was super successful, and I'm really excited for future MESA board meetings.